Hello, guys, and welcome back to CJ's Short Reviews. So, I recently watched We Met in Virtual Reality, and it was a really cool and interesting documentary about VR chat. The documentary takes place starting at the beginning of the year 2020 and going near the end of 2020, and it goes a little bit into 2021, and I think it ends around the start of 2022, I think. So basically, the whole idea behind this documentary is showing what it's like to be playing VR chat during the pandemic. So this documentary sort of covers how VR chat sort of helped people connect with other people during the pandemic when people couldn't really go outside and do very much. And it also sort of covers some of the interesting communities that form within VR chat. One of the most interesting being a community that teaches people how to do sign language so that they can communicate with people in VR chat, even if they are deaf. Unfortunately, I think that only really works totally if you have something to track all of your hand movements. But it's honestly really cool that there's a community like that. The documentary sort of has these, I want to say interviews, but you don't really, you don't actually see anyone being asked any of the questions. It's just sort of there's no narration in this documentary. It's just the camera gets pointed at people. Presumably, they're given some instructions about sort of generally what they can talk about for the documentary off camera, and so they can talk about all the things that they're doing. So the first sort of interview was with one of the teachers who teaches sign language, and I'm not gonna talk too much about what she says, but she sort of goes into why she's teaching and why she enjoys it and how she feels about the other people in that community. It also covers a community of people who are dancers, and interestingly, the documentary also follows a couple who met each other in VR chat, and the documentary sort of checks in with this couple as well as some of the other people who are interviewed multiple times over time to sort of follow them a bit and what's going on with them and what they're doing in VR chat from time to time. And it's very interesting to see all these communities within VR chat. Despite the fact that I enjoy playing VR chat myself, a lot of these communities are ones that I didn't even know existed. So it was very interesting to see that. And as for the perspective of someone who has not gotten interested in VR for themselves at all, I watched the second half of the documentary alone, but I ended up watching the first half with my dad, who has never used VR, or I don't know if that's true. He might have used it a tiny bit before, but he's hardly used VR at all, and he has never played VR chat himself. And seeing what VR chat was for the first time in a documentary. I mean, I'd told him about it before, but for him seeing what it's actually like in VR chat through that documentary seemed like it was kind of blowing his mind, which was pretty interesting. So it definitely seems like the kind of documentary that can be appealing regardless of whether you're someone who plays VR chat yourself or whether you're someone who's totally new to the idea. It was funny because there were even some shots that were kind of like, I wasn't really expecting, too much out of like the way it was shot, but even the way it's shot at times is kind of interesting. They also go a tiny, tiny bit into like VR chat sort of helping people with uh, gender identity. Like, I think at one point in the documentary, they interviewed some non-binary people who who really enjoyed a lot of the avatars that were available in VR chat, and there was even an interview with someone who had uh, a drinking problem, um, but meeting people in VR chat and having fun in VR chat kind of helped her deal with that and get better. Oh, and of course, absolutely every scene in this documentary is entirely shot within the world of VR chat, which I thought was sorry, I'm just gonna move something down there, which I thought was pretty interesting. Um, like it kind of makes me wonder about the potential of filming large documentaries. Like, if there's any other documentaries that could be made and shot entirely in VR or in the world of VR chat. Um, and it even kind of makes me wonder if there's other ideas for YouTube videos that could be shot within VR chat that I should try and explore and look into, or anything like that. In fact, it's actually made me consider starting a VR chat vlog series. I'm not really sure if that's something I'm actually going to do or not. It's just something I'm thinking about. And even if I did do it, it probably wouldn't be like a super consistent thing that I would do all the time. But I think it would be interesting to do. But yeah, there's not really too much to say other than that. But it's a very interesting it's a very interesting idea for a documentary that I've never seen done before, and I think they pulled it off really well. Overall, I would give We Met in Virtual Reality a 7 out of 10. It's not the most mind-blowing documentary I've ever seen or anything, but it is something that I've never really seen anyone do before that talks about a subject that I think is really interesting. So give this documentary a watch if you're at all interested in virtual reality and the ways that it can change certain people's lives. But anyways, that's all I have to say for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Whoops. Goodbye! I did that accidental turn there on my controller. Anyways, goodbye. See you in the next video.